I'm Arvelyn Lewis, and I am an associate broker of real estate. I work in Metro Atlanta, Georgia. And there's this trend, about the trend going around about the 5 things that you would not do now that you're in the profession that you're in. So, thought I'd join in and share some things that I would not do. Now, first off, it was a little bit challenging to think of the things because real estate is so individualized that everything is different. I can't really expect that the transaction or whatever my cousin did, I can do it exactly the same way. I can't expect that next door neighbor's transaction is going to be exactly the same as mine because their house is different from my house. Whatever way it's different. The people are different. The way they think about things is different. So it's just going to be different. And I can't expect that the transaction is going to be the same. And it's the same with buying. Your credit's different. There's all sorts of moving parts in real estate. So that is the first thing that I want to say is don't come to the transaction thinking that what you do is going to be the same way that your cousin Ray Ray and them did, because you may find that you're disappointed. You might find that you're very pleasantly pleased, but it's going to be different. It just is. It's just going to be different. Another thing is the expectation that I can go out and shop out and figure out what I want and then get approved for credit. It doesn't work that way. Don't do it. You may find yourself incredibly challenged and disappointed. You might actually even go out and find the perfect house that is perfect for you. And you try to make an offer, and the first thing that you're going to need is an approval letter that says you can afford to buy it. And if you don't have it in hand, you're likely going to lose out on the ideal and perfect house, even if you have the funds available to purchase it. You could be really well off, but you've got to have that letter in hand to say, yes, I can definitely buy it, or it just may not happen. So that's 2 things. Don't expect it to be just like someone else's, and don't go out and start trying to shop without getting your approval letter if you're planning to get a loan from a bank. The next thing would be, if I were buying a house, at no point in the transaction would I change jobs. Don't quit your job. Don't change jobs. So if you are in the process of even moving from one state to another and it's not with the same company, you might run into a problem with that. So make sure that you've got that piece worked out, and under no circumstances do you quit your job before you close on the house. I don't care if it's the day before. Don't do that. Along the same lines of things that you don't do while you're under contract is go out and make a big grandiose purchase. Don't go buy a car. Don't go buying furniture for the house that you haven't closed on yet. Don't even go out and buy an expensive bike on credit, because those things could really mess up your transaction. You've been approved for a certain amount based on the profile or the picture that they were able to take from the day that you were approved for credit. So don't change that picture. No, don't change it, because it could mess you up and keep you from closing on your house. Don't do that. Lastly, I think is I wouldn't go to a new home community to buy a house and expect that the representative at that new home community is going to tell me everything I need to know. So I wouldn't go out shopping for a new house at a new home community without a representative for me to get me exposed to all of the things I need to ask, having all of the information. Because at the new home community, they typically aren't going to volunteer that you can get an inspection, an independent inspection, to make sure that your house is a sound one. You wouldn't dare want to buy a house, a brand new house, and find that it had problems that you could have found with an independent inspection. So I think I gave you all of the 5 that I wanted to tell you. Make sure you've got credit approved before you go out and shop. Make sure you don't buy anything on credit. Make sure you don't change jobs or quit jobs, and you may not even want to go out on maternity leave while you're buying a house. It may be okay, but might not want to do it. And lastly, don't go to a new home community without an agent that represents you. And don't expect that every transaction is like somebody else's, because it won't be. I'm Marvelyn Lewis. I sell real estate.